Hi, this is Congressman Tom Cole. This is another one of our congressional weekly chats, and we're actually doing it from the Appropriations Chairman's office. As you can see, it's a lovely room, and very privileged to be here. Let's talk a little bit about what got done this week and a little bit about what's going on both under the surface and some of the things you're reading about in the press, and at least my view of what's happening in those things. First, legislatively, Congress has actually been pretty productive. I'm very happy the House passed literally just today a important bill on border security to make it easier for our men and women that are doing a tough job for us to prosecute people that have come into the country illegally and to provide protections for our folks that are doing it. Look, our Border Patrol is doing an amazing job. People should literally look at the dramatic difference that at illegal crossings at the border under Donald Trump, who, by the way, was supported by the Border Patrol both when he lost last year and, last presidential race, and when he won in the most recent one, because they know he's got their back. They know he's serious about enforcing the law. They know he's 100% supportive of their mission, and I think people that are trying to enter illegally know. I saw a recent report that literally only we're getting 132 illegal crossings a day. Now remember, at the height under President Biden, we were getting 11,000 a day. So this is a dramatic difference, and it's just a change in leadership, the appropriate reinstatement of Trump policies by executive orders, and a strong support of Republicans in Congress for what he's doing. And so I think people that have been trying to come here illegally know he's serious. He's put terrific people in place, and he's let them loose to do their job. And they're being very aggressive both at the border and, frankly, rounding up illegal immigrants that are committing crimes in our own country and sending them back where they belong, either to prison in places like Guantanamo or in the United States, or back to their home countries. And he's gotten an unprecedented degree of support, or at least compliance, from other countries who are quite often the source of these illegal immigrants. And I think Americans, whether you like Trump or not, appreciate that and should recognize the success. We've also done a couple of other bills this week that help veterans in securing homes. And again, there's never been any higher priority for Donald Trump than looking after veterans. He was very good at this in his first term. He appreciates people who have volunteered to serve our country, honors them, and wants to make sure that we fulfill our commitments to them for the service they provided to the country. And again, I think that's something, whether you agree with President Trump on particular things or not, most Americans, frankly I think all Americans, appreciate the service that's provided by our men and women in uniform, and want to make sure we keep our commitments to them and work to ease their life after they've made so many sacrifices to protect each and every one of us. So very pleased with Congress on that, and this legislation for the most part has been very bipartisan. It's attracted significant Democratic support, and again, while Democrats in general don't like Donald Trump, I think many of them appreciate what he's doing on the border, appreciate what he's doing to try and make sure our veterans are taken care of and receive the help that we've committed to them. And we certainly got to continue to work with the president on both those things. Probably the biggest drama that's going on in Congress right now is over two items. One is called the budget resolution. This is a vehicle, an aspirational vehicle. It doesn't have the force of law, but it's important because number one, it states where we're going to go, and in that legislation, we would take out or pledge to take out and save over $1.5 trillion of money, and then also that we would make sure that the Trump tax cuts stay in place, and that other tax cuts that he talked about advancing, have an opportunity to advance. So it's a vehicle that has to pass before these other issues that can be dealt with. Some of my colleagues are holding that up. They're holding up because they want deeper cuts. And I'm supportive of trying to be more responsible fiscally, but we can't get the committees that can do that in action until we pass the budget resolution. Then we can move ahead. We don't get a lot of Democratic support when it comes to cutting funding, and let alone cutting taxes. So this is something Republicans have to do on their own. Most Republicans are very united behind the president in his effort to do these things. We have a few holdouts. Again, they're holdouts because they want to do more. There's nothing wrong with that. But my experience legislatively over the years, when you have a chance to get a win, take the win. And don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. So hopefully we'll get there. We're continuing to negotiate. Speaker's heavily involved in that negotiation with members of our own conference. I got to tell you, I admire Mike Johnson so much. He's just someone who goes about his job, does it with good humor and humility, tries to work with everyone. He's got some pretty difficult members to work with some days, and I applaud him for his action. I applaud our Budget Committee Chairman Jody Arrington, who's trying again to work to get serious reforms and entitlements across the line that will save the Americans, people, hundreds of billions, eventually trillions of dollars over time. So this is worthy work, and both those two individuals are really doing their job. I hope some of my colleagues will sit down and work with them. Again, their intentions are good, but you can overdo it sometimes, and you make progress generally one step at a time, not one giant leap at a time. So, but again, we're working through that. Hopefully we'll get there. Same thing is going on in the Appropriations Committee right now. We began negotiations in that a couple of weeks ago. Honestly, this is something we should have gotten done in December of last year, but some of our own members prevented us from doing that. Again, hopefully we'll change on that and we'll get to a better place. But regardless, proud of my colleagues for what they're trying to do, particularly our leadership and our committee chairs. And first time in my time in Congress, I've seen somebody get serious about what's called mandatory spending. The reality is there's nothing mandatory around here. These are things that Congress put in law and is sometimes afraid to run the political risk that it takes. But again, I think President Trump in the end will prevail, and I think we'll see less spending without a doubt, and we'll see over time, growth-friendly tax reform that will boost the economy, provide jobs for America, and honestly, additional income for the federal government. If more people are working, if companies are profitable, guess what? There's more federal revenue to take care of this amazingly large deficit that we're running that Joe Biden left. A $2 trillion a year deficit is something that has to be dealt with, and the Trump administration's trying to do that. We're trying to work with them on that. At the same time, they're trying both to preserve the current tax cuts that were passed in 2017 and to add some important new elements as well, particularly things like not taxing people that work overtime. They're working overtime. They're providing a valuable service. They're working beyond the normal 40 hours a week, and they're doing it in ways that generate more federal tax income. We ought to give those people a little boost. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm very proud of the president's effort to remove the tax on tips. I think that's another area where hardworking Americans, if you work in an industry where a lot of your compensation is in tips, that means the quality of your service has to be very high or people won't give you the tip. That's how they make their money. So let's encourage people that are working hard day to day, quite often single parents. Let's help them out. These are people that are the backbone of our economy in many cases, and I think President Trump doesn't forget about the average guy that's out there working hard for his or her family and out there working hard just to get by. So we're trying to do some things that will make life a little bit easier for the average American. Again, proud of the president for doing that. There's also been, of course, in Washington, and I have no doubt you're seeing it, a lot of discussion about this operation called DOGE, the Department on Government Efficiency. This is the Elon Musk operation, and they're moving pretty fast, and they've identified some areas of waste and inefficiency, and frankly, sometimes agencies funding operations that the average American would find inexplicable that we actually do things. So I think highlighting those things, getting to the back of it, and also looking at fraudulent payments. We have people that literally aren't eligible for Social Security taking money out of Social Security. People that should not be or are not eligible for Medicaid taking those kind of monies. Stopping those sorts of things, highlighting them so the American people know those are good things, not bad things. And then it's up to Congress to act on the information that they're providing. Again, give people a chance. It's a new administration. It's not even a month old, but it's already done a lot in a matter of weeks, and it's shown you the broad direction they want to go. These are things that President Trump talked about in his campaign, and he's doing his very, very best to deliver on his campaign commitment. So again, I applaud applaud the president for his efforts, applaud the administration for their efforts. And with that, I think a lot of the proof in the pudding will be in the next few weeks. Can we actually pass a budget resolution that then opens the door for reforming and saving Medicaid, or do we just let it go broke? And do we open the door to pass the tax reductions that the president achieved in his first term and make them permanent, or at least extend them, and do the same thing with some of the new ideas again that he talked about quite openly when he won an incredible victory in November. So Congress is moving broadly in the right direction. I will tell you, in my view, largely Democrats are resisting the president at every step along the way. They're not trying to work with him, they're just trying to thwart him. That's unfortunate. I hope that'll change over time, because to get some big things done, we need some bipartisan support. But again, we're working in good faith to achieve those things. We're making some progress on a lot of good different fronts, and so I remain fairly optimistic about the path forward. The only advice I would have for my fellow Republicans is get on the team, work with the president, work with the speaker, try and accomplish these things on a step-by-step basis. Don't overreach, don't try and go too far, too fast, just make steady progress. I think that's all the American people ask of us. It's not too much to ask. It's certainly something that the administration and the Republican leadership in the House are trying to achieve. We just need every single Republican pulling in the same direction to cooperate with our own elected leaders in our Congress and with a president who was elected by the people of the United States and won the popular vote. So he's going about his business. He's trying to keep his promises, and we should be working to try and help him do that. With that, I'll let you go, but I hope you and your family are safe. I hope things are going well for you. If we can help in any way, please reach out to our office. But for now, good luck. God bless. I look forward to visiting with you again soon.